Let's take a look at a few of the inequality signs that we have and ones that we are going to use. The first one is this little guy here. So the four are all right here. The first one we're going to look at here is the one that's kind of an arrow pointing to the left. Now you may have seen this in the past and you may have gone through inequalities in the past, so this should be understandable, is that we can think of it maybe as like an alligator or Pac-Man, and the direction that the open mouth is to the bigger side. So this one here is going to represent left to right. Whatever's on the left is smaller than whatever's on the right. We call this, let's see if I can get this on here, the less than function. Okay, so this is our less than function. This means that the answer will be the collection of the values which are below the limit. Okay, and we're going to look at some examples of that in just a little bit. But this means that we're looking for the collection of values that are below the limit. Okay, which pieces are less than? Okay, kind of like our speed limit, everything less than 100 works, but anything over 100 does not. So less than would work. The next one is the opposite way around. And if the first one's less than, you can probably guess what the second one's going to be. Okay, it's going to be the opposite. So this is greater than. So a greater than symbol. So in this case here, the answer again will be the collection of values which are above the limit. Okay, it'll be everything that's above the limit. Now that means that, again, like our height one, we're looking for what heights are above the limit that we have. Those ones will all be allowed. Anything below the limit is not allowed. Anything above the limit is allowed. These first two inequalities, okay, they do not include the given unit. Okay, so they don't include the given unit. They only include the everything either above or below. So in essence, what we'd say is if the speed has to be less than 100, 100 doesn't actually work, but as long as we're below, we're okay. That's not really the case because you could still go 100 kilometers an hour and be okay. Just like with the height, you can be that exact height and still be okay, as long as you are at that point. So that's where we come in with these other ones. So these are a couple of other symbols that you'll notice right here. This first one is a less than symbol with a line underneath it. Okay, that line represents equal. Okay, it represents equal, and so when we say it, we are going to say less than or equal to. It's less than or equal to. So this includes the limit value and all values below. Okay, so it includes that given value. So if we say it is less than or equal to 100, that includes 100 and everything below. This one doesn't include 100. Okay, it doesn't include that. It just includes the ones that are below. The other symbol, and again, same thing here. This was our greater than symbol. Okay, so this is greater than or equal to a symbol. So it's our greater than or equal to. So that means that, again, just like the previous one, it includes the limit value and all values above. So this includes our limit. So again, like our height, okay, it has to be greater than or equal to. So let's say that height is 36 centimeters or 36 inches, 3 feet. Okay, you can be greater than or equal to 3 feet. So once you hit 3 feet, once you hit 36 inches, you can then definitely go on the ride. Okay, so that is an idea of the inequality sign. Now let's describe each of the inequalities using an inequality sign. So here again, we have a speed limit sign which states the maximum speed is 50 kilometers per hour. Well, that tells us that we can go 50 or less. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to define our speed. X is going to equal to our speed. Okay. that we're going. So that's x. So our inequality, now we're just defining what x is. Now, we're going to do a little bit of that, again, when we talk about a contextual problem, so we have context to it, then we should include that. So, but this tells us here that x has to be less than or equal to 50. And that would be our inequality. This is an inequality. X is less than or equal to 50, and x is our speed. Okay, so our speed has to be less than or equal to 50. The next one here says that more than 8 players are needed for a baseball game to start. Well, that says 8 isn't actually allowed, but we need more than that. Okay, so we're going to represent x is the number of players. And when we do our inequality, what we're going to do here is x has to be bigger than 8, but not equal to it. Actually, it has to be bigger. So we're just going to do x is greater than 8. There's an inequality. X is greater than 8. Now here we're going to deal with something that's a little bit different. Here we actually have multiple kind of restrictions or things that kind of come in place here. We're told that a standard class has between 12 and 27 students. So we have a couple different ways to mention this here. First of all, we're going to say, what is x? X is the number of students in class. Okay. And so we have two limits here. We're told that it has to be between 12 and 27. So that means that x has to be greater than 12, actually greater than or equal to what we'll say in this case here. And there's a second one here. And x has to be less than or equal to 27. There we go. Okay, so we have two of them. We have a lower limit and an upper limit. Okay, this is our lower limit, this is our upper limit. All right, okay, so number of students in class, we actually have two limits here, two inequalities. The last one is dealing with manufacturing. So let's say when packaging chip bags, any weighing less than 223 grams and over 231 grams are discarded. So we're going to describe the discarded ones. And so we're going to again say x is equal to discarded bags. Discarded bag weights. And so now again, we have two different things. We have anything less than 223 grams. So x is less than 223. And x is greater than 231. Okay. As you know, I'll put or in here. That makes a little bit more sense. Go in there. So x is less than 223 or x is greater than 231. Both of them are included because both of them are a part of that. So there could be multiple ones. Now, that's just writing out some inequalities. I'd like you on your assignment work on question number 1. Question number 1 just deals with things that it's just describing things. So I want you to write down what is x going to be equal to. Okay, so describe x and then give an inequality which x represents x as well.